Hey everyone, I'm Monica Clavijo, and welcome to another episode of the Bear Experiment podcast. Today's episode is not about bitterness, it's about truth. It's about what happens when a father doesn't walk away but is pushed out. We hear a lot about deadbeat dads, but we don't hear enough about the fathers who show up, who fight, who empty their savings, their energy, and their sanity just to be allowed to love their children. The family court system claims to serve the best interest of the child, but too often it forgets one crucial thing. Children need their fathers. My guest today is Wes Acton. He's a single father who endured years of emotional, financial, and legal warfare simply to remain in his children's lives. What he went through didn't break him, it transformed him. Today, he stands as an advocate for fathers who are silenced, dismissed, and treated as optional. If this conversation makes you uncomfortable, it should, because justice doesn't improve when we stay quiet. This is a conversation for fathers who are fighting, for children who are caught in the middle, and for a system that desperately needs reform. This is the Bear Experiment podcast, and this story needs to be heard. If this conversation matters to you, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on all those notifications. These are real stories that need real support. Hit subscribe and don't miss on the next one. Now let's dive in. Quick question. When was the last time that you checked your facility for corrosion? If you manage a commercial or industrial property and you're dealing with corrosion, erosion, or chemical damage to steel or concrete, you need to know about ABC American Services. ABC American Services specializes in corrosion control and facility protection, helping you repair and extend the life of critical equipment before replacing becomes a massive expense. Their certified experts inspect, analyze, and deliver customized solutions for HVAC systems, cooling towers, air handler units, chillers, concrete columns, all the high-risk, high-cost components most facilities struggle with. Instead of tearing everything out, they use Anacon's high-performance polymer systems trusted worldwide to rebuild, resurface, and protect your equipment. They're certified Anacon applicators here in Florida, so you're getting proven solutions backed by real experience. They also restore cracked concrete, mechanical rooms, loading docks, walkways, and even offer electrostatic painting for a clean, factory quality finish with minimal disruption. To protect your investment and save money long term, call 786-282-5186, 786-282-5186, or visit abcamericanser.com and request a free site analysis. And remember, when you call, use promo code Monica to receive 10% off all services. ABC American Services, protecting your facility and your budget. All right, and we are live. Thank you so much, Wes Acton, for being with us on the Bear Experiment podcast today, sharing your story as a single father fighting the court system, as so many fathers have had to endure, the traumatizing experiences that they've gone through. Not just them, but then the children suffer, right? Because they're the ones that are stuck in the middle and they're going back and forth. And then, unfortunately, on most cases, these scenarios are taking place where it's the mother taking advantage, right, of the fathers financially. But then, I know many, many cases where you have those badass females out there that they have great jobs, and then they have the deadbeat dads that really are just after the money and they could care less for the kids. So this plays on both parts. And at the end, the focus here has to be on the children and what's best for the children. So thank you for joining us today. We've been meaning to talk forever and we're finally doing it. So thank you very much. This is an important topic. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who Wes Acton is today?
Well, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I've been enjoying the show. It's just such a privilege to be on. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, I'm Wes Matthews Acton. I live in East Wenatchee, Washington. And in 2016,
How's that weather?
December.
How's that weather out there?
Actually, not bad. It's cold. It's just frozen mud. Where everyone else is getting buried in snow,
Yeah.
we're just cold right now. We
Oh,
get beautiful snow for here in Washington. We get usually all four seasons. Very nice. Three months of each. It's
mm-hmm.
actually really nicely divvied up. But every now and then we get a bunch of snow every now and then. But here lately, there's just been we get a little dusting once in a while everyone
Oh.
else is getting buried. so,
Just
so
tuning
well,
into the news and just seeing most of the Northeast just like under
yeah,
snow.
my friends have been posting videos like, look at this,
Yeah.
look at
It
this.
makes you I'm in Florida, right? It makes you a little grateful to be in Florida with the crazies, but you know what? It's the weather sometimes. That's what
Yeah.
we're here for. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, the time I spent a little bit of time in Florida. I loved it there. It was a humid, but it was a different type of humid. Usually I don't
Yeah.
like humid, but it was a
Yeah.
different humid. Yeah,
It
so
depends on where you're at, right? And the time of the year, of course, how humid
exactly.
it can get. But South Florida can get brutal.
Oh,
July and August in South Florida, it's just like, shoot me.
mhm. I used to live in Arizona, and people say, "Oh, that's a dry heat." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the deadly heat."
It's the worst one, right? It's just like
Yeah,
it's like 150-degree weather. You're just like
yeah.
dying in the desert. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of work on my dad's plumbing company, taking care of swamp coolers on rooftops, and that the reflective roofs they bake you.
Oh,
You're actually frying. You're being microwaved. And then
yeah.
I worked on
It's
my grandpa's ranch for years too, and that heat is just it's like you're underneath a microscope. It was really
I can imagine. I can
yeah.
certainly
So.
imagine. So I'm sorry. So,
Mhm.
Wes, t talk to us about who Wes Acton is today. Where you're at today with everything that you've been through. We're going to dive into your story a little bit, but tell us about who you are.
Who I am? Well, right now, a man who's been struggling. I was very blessed. I managed to win full 100% custody of my children,
Mm-hmm.
where I see both stories where 50-50 custody works if both parents have the best interest of the children. And I have seen um, where it works, but where we're focused on is where it doesn't work.
Right.
Because and how to make it better because 50-50 custody if the abuser's still involved 50-50 custody is terrible for the children because they have to spend that time with their abuser
Right.
and then if and then the kids are a poor tug of war rope and the kids don't develop, they don't grow, they don't improve, they don't develop, and then they end up becoming 20-30 year old kids,
Right.
so they never learn how to one thing I'm grateful for is since I've had full custody of my kids, I'm able to teach them chores, responsibility, discipline, not punishment. People get words mixed up. Discipline is you're getting up on time, you're getting to school, you're doing your chores, you're being
Mm-hmm.
responsible, and and then what, you're taking away their childhood. I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's the way it's always been. It's only been the last 40-50 years where it's kids aren't made to help on the farm, help in the household, and it hasn't been working. Yeah, if you look at the world around us, that's not working. And
Listen, I am a true believer that there is an essence in childhood that is not available in today's society.
hmm
I grew up where I was riding bike and in my small town,
hmm
and I remember that we had to be home before it got dark for dinner. There was
same
no
here.
cell phones, there were no beepers, and you
Mhm.
don't die. Whatever you do, don't die
Yeah,
and
and
come back home for dinner at whatever time that was, right?
yeah,
Before it
when
got
the sun
dark.
starts to when the sun gets right over the
Right.
horizon, it's time to come home. And if you break a bone, walk it off.
Yeah, and that certainly does not exist today. I know that for my daughter, I
Mhm.
wouldn't feel comfortable letting her take her bike out for a ride,
Oh
in
no.
the neighborhood and okay, hey, yeah, I'll see you in 2 hours. No, that's non-existent in my world.
Oh yeah, when my kids were smaller, yeah, I got my son Ethan. He's 17 now, and my daughter Cassidy is 15.
So you have how many kids?
4.
Four. Oh, wow.
And raising by myself for 8 years.
That's amazing, Wes. So you have four kids. So what are their ages again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ethan is 17,
Uh-huh.
and Cassidy is 15. Saphira is 13, and Elora is 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got Laura back. She never even really knew her mom, and when her first memories were of trauma and terror, so she didn't start speaking until she's about 4.5.
So were you in a relationship long term with the mother? Were you married?
Well, we were married. We were a part of the same church. We were both missionaries. Before we got together, we had it was the perfect picket fence, white picket fence life. It was that Christian bubble of I was a scout leader. I was a seminary teacher. I've a contractor, and she was that beautiful blue-eyed blonde. Oh, and we come home, everything was great. And then when we had our third child, something snapped. And she obviously had some sort of mental condition, something broke. And I understand a lot of people, that's the possibly bipolar, the postpartum depression, and
Right.
that's understandable until it becomes violent. And then I was trying to get help, but everywhere I went to get help, it was like, Mr. Acton, I think you're making up excuses. I think you're putting all the blame on her. You need to take responsibility. I was like, I got that. I don't need the typical talking points. There is something wrong. I speak to her one minute, then the next minute it's like speaking to someone completely different.
So these are
So,
not conditions or any type of signs that you saw prior to her not having any children at all when you guys were first dating. You
no.
never saw something a little off with her where you were like, oh,
Oh, she had some quirks about her. I
yeah.
mean, she was a health nut to the point she would preach at everyone, and she had everyone has things that are annoying. I mean, I'm a nerd. I talk about superheroes and dragons more than a grown man should. So
Hmm.
there's people that have their quirks, but it's again when it becomes violent and where it makes it that you're unsustainable to thrive in life.
Right.
Because I was coming home, and I was worried that one day I was going to come home to bodies. That's how bad it was getting. And
Really? So
yes, it was
she was getting physically violent with the children?
with everyone except she was cognitively aware enough to put on a show in front of other people, but when it was home, completely different animal. But there was definitely, and I was trying to seek counseling, mental help. I went and saw a doctor named Jennifer Higgins, and all she did was put the blame on me. And even though I showed her
How?
voice messages, what?
How did she put the blame on you?
Oh, I needed to be more supportive. I was just making this up to look like a good guy so I could go run around again. I was like, I was a Boy Scout. I was boring. I never ran around in the first place, and that's a fact. I was actually a very shy. The guys in Big Bang Theory. That was kind of like me. I was, hi. That's how I was in my younger years, and
So when
uh,
things start getting violent,
mhm.
does the violence start with you or does it start with the children?
Oh, it started with the children actually. It's only when I stepped in and when it was she was so first she was hiding it till my son says I'd come home and I see scratches and bruises on the kids. I'm like, what's going on? And they were fighting again. And I'd go sit my son down I'm like, Ethan, you can't be fighting with your sister. And he's like this.
Oh my
And
God.
the way he was acting was like this. Oh my gosh, he is violent. But then he's like, Dad, it's mom. I'm like, what do you mean? And then I feel creepy and disgusting, but I had to set up cameras to find out what was going on.
So that's how
So
you
I,
find out that's how you get the evidence then that you put cameras all over the house and you see how she's
yeah,
treating
and
the
I
children.
felt bad because other people did that, and I had other people say, "Oh, so you had to put cameras up and watched me." I was like, "But I don't know how else to get that because I was speaking, I was trying to reach out in a diplomatic way, and no one would." So I finally got the cameras. I showed the proof. Then I was trying to get her more help, and then she just got worse. And I'd come home to just bruises and scratches sorry, I shouldn't say that word, over the most bizarre things. Looking at baby quail, to throw away their stuffed animals. My daughter was excited to see a kitten at a park. She left my daughter alone at a park for a long time. And it was, um, getting very sorry. One second. What's up? Trash. Oh, yeah, so I'm just. I told you. No, it's okay. Okay. She's sweet. She was coming to get the trash. So,
Well, they're doing more than my kid,
oh,
I'll tell you that
oh,
much.
they're good. And that was my youngest one, Laura, and she's 10 now, and she still has like little bitty kid talk. But she pronounces everything right because she never really started speaking because her first memories, her first core
Traumatic.
memories were of seeing terrible things. And then when they were taken from us,
Okay, wait, wait,
December
wait, wait,
19th.
wait,
Oh,
wait,
sorry.
wait.
Oh, sorry.
So, well, yeah, they say that, right, the first, what is it, the first 4 to 5 years of a child's life are the crucial developmental parts of the brain, right? Where
Yes.
that's where you really gain all that future trauma that we can possibly develop as adults, right? Because we store that
Yes.
in there, but that's
Oh,
really like our core memory that
me
lives on
too.
with, yeah.
Hmm.
So then you're getting ahead of yourself. So then what happens? They take the children away from you guys. Who
Oh,
calls
well,
child services?
I went to some officers that I know because I used to go down to Yakima, Washington, do war games with some cops, and so I knew a couple of them. I went to them and say, "Hey, I'm dealing with this. I went to doctors. I went to church leaders. It's always this too shall pass. Everything in the Lord's time. It is what it is. When God closes the door, He opens a window. Have you prayed?" I was like, I teach seminary. I've prayed. I was a missionary. Yes, they started giving me the same robotic answers and responses. The people I've known for years. Suddenly, when this came in, it's like they went to um NPC mode. It's like, hey, I'm dealing with a traumatic situation. Oh, this too shall pass. I'm like, what? Well, it was kind of crazy. I'd be like, I've known you guys for years. As soon as I bring up a serious situation, you go into robot mode for some reason. It was crazy. And then so I went to the cops and asked them, what should I do? Like, well, you might have to come in and make a statement. I was like, okay, I'll come and make a statement because I didn't go to CPS. I went to the police officer seeing if I can get right to the court order to say if I can get her ordered to take because she would not go to see a therapist. Her parents and everyone who knew her was making every excuse for her that they could. Like, oh, that just happens. I'm like, my children are bleeding. I
Right.
need help. And it was like talking to cheese. I don't know how else to put it. And with almost everyone except for my parents and a few members of my family, but even half the members of my family even turned on me. It was amazing.
During
My whole church.
when the children were taken away from
Yeah,
you,
when the children were
you
taken.
didn't feel then that you had any level of support?
No, there was hardly any. I mean, my whole church turned on me.
Why? Why was
I'd
that?
it was because I was the man, and they even said it.
And they thought that it was a reflection of a behavior that maybe was coming on your behalf,
Yeah,
not on hers.
exactly. They wouldn't ask questions. They wouldn't even. They just automatically when I started walking by, they'd pick up their children and almost run away. I'm like, and they would not. It was just hard for me to believe that a mother would do that. I was like, it's on the news all the time of bad parents on both sides doing things. I mean, it's
But it
not
is,
it's not
it
exemplary.
is hard to believe that a
Yeah.
mother can hurt their
Hmm.
child that
Oh,
way,
it
right?
is.
After you've
Yeah.
carried that baby for 9 months. I mean, there's a certain connection,
Right.
there's an energy exchange there that's hard to
Yes.
believe that a mother, there has to be some kind of a mental health
Yes.
association for that
Right.
to truly be taking place. I can't
And then
imagine, that a mother would wake up one day and say, I'm gonna be a bitch and I'm gonna hurt my kid. Like,
right.
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and there's a bond there. Like my two oldest ones, they had a bond to her. Amazing. She was a very good mom at the beginning, but when she wanted to have an at-home birth, where she was in a tub, she wanted to have a couple midwives and stuff, which I was fine with. I'm actually all about a bit more natural stuff
Yeah.
than pharmaceutical stuff. And but she wouldn't listen to the midwives. The midwife, her name is Kristen, very wonderful. I was her plumber. I worked with her husband, so I had connections of proper people that I knew we could trust too. And she wouldn't listen. She started pushing too early. Her eye was bulging out of her head. She had broken blood vessels all in her face because well she was good, but she was very stubborn and she always thought she knew better. That was the one issue she had even before all this. But it
Hmm.
wasn't to the point of destructive behavior and violent behavior. It's after she had our third child. Then after our fourth child, completely different person in our lives. My son would even say, "Dad, I'm talking to mom," and then all of a sudden it's like someone else is in mom's body, and he was only 7.
Oh my God.
Realizing this at a very young age, no coaching. He came to me because he felt alone. I was working 10, 12 hours a day as a plumber, electrician, heavy equipment operator. I was doing a lot of work trying to make sure I was given a good life because she was a stay-at-home mom. Her choice. I was not pushing. I was like, sometimes the work was so hectic. I was like, "Hey, how about you work in your mom's shop in her elixir?" She had all sorts of natural little remedies that she sold in Moses Lake, Washington. And because people think I'm oppressing you, I'm isolating you, and she's like, "No, I like being home with the kids." I'm like, "Okay, can you tell everyone else that because I'm being looked at like I'm suppressing you?" So
Right.
she would finally back me up on that one. It was like it was her idea. Everything I promise you, I'm not being oppressive on her at all. And thank goodness it finally came out because the my neighbor also had a camera set up, always filming my driveway area. And nice man,
Because you asked them to, or
no, he always had it. And then I went to him, was like, "Hey, would you mind?" And he was home all the time. He was retired. He had a walker, so he was always
Mm.
outside with a little tablet, which is another story later of him filming when they sent some guys to beat me up. So thank goodness he was filming then too. Um, yeah, she got in touch with an old boyfriend of hers who was a firefighter in Moses Lake, and well, that's what he told me. I think he was just trying to get her back, and he came over with a couple friends, kicked my door in, start saying you can't take a mother away from the children. I'm like this. I'm not. I just wanted her to stop beating them up, and then they'd pop me in the face, they'd push me in the chest, and it wasn't a Chuck Norris moment. I just grabbed one and twisted their arm behind their back, and just kicked one in the side real quick. It wasn't like anything made. It was just a little scuffle, and then finally they drove off. And then I went to my neighbor Jack across the street and said, "Hey, Jack." He's like, "I already got it on a DVD." But that was almost 10 years. Yeah, that was almost 10 years ago when you couldn't just, push, click, and share.
Yeah.
And so he
So
had that. And he had videos of her out in the parking lot being very rough with the kids too. So,
so there was a lot of evidence on that part. So then at what point during all of this interaction that you guys are all going through, so they come and they take away the children, but at what point then is it that you realize that the court system was going to be a fight and it wasn't going to be a fair one for you?
oh, immediately. When I went to the officers, CPS was already there. I was like, huh, I did not. I was talking to you guys. I didn't call. Well, we felt like we had to, and these are guys I thought I could trust because I didn't know them from Adam, but I was trying to say I just want us to see if we can get in and what we can do here, and they just said, "Well, Mr. Acton, we're gonna have to take the children." I'm like, What? You're just automatically assuming I'm guilty without without even me providing any evidence of my innocence at all. I mean, what and they showed up at my house with three cops. She let them in. They already had when I left to the police station. They already had two cops at that house with the CPS at my house, and to for her because I wasn't going to let them in my house. I know that trick, but they were already set up, ready to go, divide and conquer.
Right.
Another trap that they have so many traps. And when I got back to the house with my two oldest kids, because I had my two oldest kids give a statement, and I was trying to do everything I can to get her a court order that she has to receive therapy because she wouldn't go to therapy at all. And the next day we had a safety meeting, and they were telling me how we have to sign away our rights to the kids and all the same jargon that I've heard from so many other people. And thank goodness they got the kids to my parents' house. So
I was
that
going to
was
say, so your parents took custody of the children.
yeah, they took us to the
All
kids, but
four?
all four. And my parents were amazing with my kids. If it wasn't for my parents, I'd be in a much different situation. I mean, I was able to pull off some miracles, but my mom and dad were definitely one of those miracles. And they did a great job with my kids too.
So
But immediately,
how long then were they with your parents where you did not have any kind of access to them at all?
oh, immediately it was for the first little while, we were immediately allowed supervised visitations through a group called Gonzalez Associates about twice a month for only about 2 or 3 hours
Oh,
not twice
terrible.
twice a week sorry
Oh,
twice a week
I
sorry.
was gonna say
And,
twice a month. Twice a week
but
is hard, but twice a month,
yeah,
that's
and
steep.
they were and the whole time we're seeing this tiny little room cubicle with other kids and other little it was like a barnyard where you'd there'd be another family in this one were screaming kids, and we were here and we had to present ourselves as perfect parents while someone's there looking at us writing notes, and my daughter would want to
Mm.
come sit on my lap. Why is she sitting on your lap? I was like, because she's my daughter. No, you can't do that. I'm like, and then They want to give us a hug. Why are you giving a hug? And then actually, the night they took me the kids, my daughter Cassidy runs to me and say, "Daddy," and because they said they had to take the kids, she got scared and ran right to me. And I reached out to grab her, and one cop immediately grabbed my wrist. I'm like,
That's
I mean, they,
insane.
they they just got rough, and then thank goodness, Detective Long, he was a good guy. He was the only one there trying to have some reason because I went to him, and he had to talk to a supervisor to see what he can get going on, and they just took it from there. So, and he was mad. He was upset what they did, and it's like get them to my parents. And the guy that grabbed my wrist, and I kind of pulled back a little bit like that. But he says we cannot guarantee that. And I was like, please get them to my parents. And I gave him the list, the number, and I was in tears. Just and my kids were having their hands against the glass, saying, "Daddy, Daddy." And he's like, I will not leave your kids until they're with your parents. I will not leave your kids. I was like, and I just had to believe him, even though I was already crushed
That was
because
the Officer Long, the one that you're saying?
yeah, the good one. Yeah, he was great, and he would come in after everything worked out. He'd come and check on us every now and then, and he was one of the few that were genuine. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
that's great. I'm grateful that you were able to at least have somebody on your side, that
yeah. But
that
during
was
COVID, all the good ones I knew they disappeared. That's a whole nother story. But all the good ones were replaced during COVID. But yeah, so it was a battle. The visitations, the court appointments. I had to take three psychological evaluations. She didn't have to take one. I had to take two competency tests. The first psychological evaluation, they thought I tricked them. I'm like, so am I some sort of criminal mastermind? I'm a plumber.
So
And
what did she say then? Okay, so then there clearly you were presumed guilty as an unfit parent right from the start because you're the father. You're the male
mhm.
in the
Oh,
in the scenario.
and
So
they were
then
even bold saying that.
so
They
then
did.
what does she say? What is her excuse? What is her story?
Oh, her story was, gosh, well, first she was denying it all and blaming it all on me. And for the first few months, I was losing the case. I was going to go to jail for 3 years for something I never did. And she was going to end up at the house, and so the kids were going to go back to her. It was all, and then finally, I got with the guardian ad litem, and I was like, "Hey, can I?" And I had to kind of pull a trick. I said, "Can I meet with you one on one? I got something I gotta get off my chest and confess something." And immediately like this, oh, I got him.
He's
You know, they,
talking.
yeah, he's talking. Oh, and that's going to be me who finds it
Yeah.
out. So, but no, I was like this. Okay, and then I had for the first 3 months. I just stayed silent. I didn't go on social media and throw up the middle finger. I didn't start getting derogatory. I was undercover. I went and got my medical records. I went and got my work records. I went and got my invoices. I went and got every photographic evidence I got. And I was worried if I didn't get it fast enough because it took forever. And I went to the doctor. Can I get my medical records? Why? I was like, because they're. I wanted to go. Well, because they're my medical records. You
Right.
immediately want to outburst. I was like, well, I found a specialist that's going to give me the help I need because I finally had to come to a realization that I really need help. And they're like, well, that's good. Yeah. And it was me confessing about what a monster I am. So immediately they complied. They gave me my disc with all my medical records. I got it all printed up. And then I got to the Guardian Line, the GAL at McDonald's, and I had a box. And she's like, this. And I sit down and I start presenting everything of the me. I was working 10 hours a day. I have never had drugs. I've never been on alcohol. um here's the pictures and of me with the kids. I presented everything, the text messages, screenshots, printed them up of things that she would say, and the video recordings. And we sat there for a good 3 hours, and she's like this. And then suddenly this, like, she's like, you were trying to save your family. I'm like, yes, finally, not an NPC. And she's like this, oh, this changes everything. You and she's like this, you're a good dad. You've been really in the videos and everything, and because they just went into program mode of man bad, she good. I mean, that's basically how they respond.
Yeah, it's not
And
fair. It's not fair, but again, we go back to what we were talking from the very beginning.
mhm,
Percentage wise, it's
mhm.
always It's mainly the men, right? That that
Yes,
that are the abusers,
right.
or or at least the women have a
And,
better
and-
case for
yeah, and the truth is, men are more aggressive. It does happen, but
stronger, right? Yeah.
when it's turned on them in an unjust way, that's where it's bad. I was like, and I see the bad and the good on both, in both. I mean, there's obviously good and bad in both, but it's when the narrative is twisted to demonize one side, especially what I've noticed lately, it's actually the good parent being demonized. And
Yeah.
they will purposely go out of the way to
Correct.
support the bad parent because they know the bad parent will mess up again and they get the kids and keep them in the court system, or they get the kids for other reasons that
And,
I'm
and,
very worried
and
about.
right, and the damage that you're doing to the children during the entire rivalry, right? Like at that
Exactly.
point, it's like you're trying to avoid that to continue to happen to the child.
Exactly.
What
Exactly.
was the most emotionally painful moment during the whole custody process that you can recall today?
Well, after that, we had her removed from the house because then it was overwhelming evidence. And but it was me walking around that house, just silence, not the sounds of my kids' voices, pictures on the walls, just touching their pictures, just walking back and forth, pacing because I had no more job. I had to focus completely on getting my kids back. My family kicked me out of the family business. The church kicked me out of the church. Half my family alienated me. It was the whole week changed, and then how they were at my house trying to find anything wrong with me nonstop, trying to get me to lose my temper. They'll just suddenly accuse me of something. I knew the trick they were trying to do. They try to get you to react. So, oh, you're acting
You're
hostile.
violent.
Yeah, the kids will not be safe with this monster,
Yeah.
and they were trying to get. So I worked on how to turn that back around on them. I'm like, well, according to CPS, the children do not develop properly when they're in your care either. There's hardly any success stories of them being in your care.
That's right.
So I don't know. Are the kids safe in your care? And then I get them to lose their temper. I was like, well, that's very hostile. Really? Are the children safe? I mean, you guys are still humans. You're not. When did you guys suddenly become on the same level of Jesus? I was like, so
Right.
you guys commit no wrong? And I was able to, then I got them, I had to do a thing. I got them at each other because and when I was in court, they were there badgering me, saying, "You coerced her, you tricked her, you influenced her to do this." I was like, "Well, I didn't go to her sister and do the same thing with her because her sister had her kids taken away from her too." And
So there's a pattern in her family with this
there's
type
a
of
pattern in
behavior.
yes, there was a pattern in the family, and I was able to bring that out. And then I was like, "Your Honor, is there a rule book on the time frame of when you're supposed to turn someone in when abuse happens? Is there a level of abuse that gets to a point where it's discipline, discipline, punishment, punishment, then abuse? Is there an actual guidebook here? That because it sounds like a bunch of opinions and agendas and concerns
That's right.
instead of actual laws." And he's like this. Well, what is the rule book? I was like, you're a judge. I wanted to twist the knife a little bit, say, well, you're a judge. You don't know. That's why that fire in you, but you
Well,
have to use
that
strategy.
couldn't have been helpful in your favor at that
Oh, it did.
time.
Oh, it did at my favor because then they were at each other. Then it was people with ego. Who's the smartest one in the room? And I was able to get that going there. And I was like, "Well, Your Honor, do they respect you enough to give you the information you need?"
Right.
He's like, "I want that now." And we were in front of a huge room with a bunch of people, and I was able, and I made sure that it was me tweaking the judge's ego, but like I was on his side. And I
Right.
said, and I told people, when it's in court, you got your documentation right. Everyone's so proud of themselves. They got their stacks of their paperwork that they film and show everyone on social media. They talk about what they're presenting, what they're going to serve this affidavit. They're going to serve this amendment. They're going to serve this. I was like, you're telling the enemy what you're doing. See, I waited until the opportune moment where the courtroom was filled, and then I went on social media after it was already a success. I didn't claim success and then get my butt kicked in court later.
Right.
So
Right.
I've been doing for the last 8 years, trying to teach people that there's more than just getting the paperwork in order.
So how long was the entire court process?
Getting my kids back took 10 months. So I was very grateful. This was before COVID, but when the court system was messed up then, but after COVID, it got worse. I don't think I'd win now. But it was 10 months of getting my kids back. It was a year and a half getting the divorce from my wife because I had to get divorced in order to get full custody. I got my kids back in my custody in 10 months. Then I got full custody of my kids after the divorce.
And
And
she
then
gave up and she gave up all parental rights with the divorce of the children?
yeah, she did. She did. She after it was overwhelming, and she had to go to jail for a time for assault against a minor. She was first facing 10 years. I was like, she doesn't need jail because this was my wife. I didn't have any hatred towards her. I wanted her to get well. I wanted the woman I loved to come back. And people want to say, "Well, did you come to see the show about her getting convicted?" I was like, "See the show?" I was like, see, the people that automatically jump to hatred and revenge, I
So
just don't
she
understand that thinking.
she
Yeah,
she went to jail for physical assault or sexual assault?
for physical assault, physical assault. There were some. It wasn't actual touching, but she was talking to the kids about very inappropriate things at a on a level little kids should never know about,
Yeah.
because they were in the tub, and a little kid just being a little kid, and she'd start giving this terrible lecture that they're a sinner and you're evil, and like, what do they do in the tub? And she automatically started accusing the kids of like masturbation. And I was like, at 5? No. I was like, my son, he was always like this, and he'd end up hitting himself in the head because he was being yelled at about things that the poor little guy had no idea about. He
Right.
had no idea what she was even talking about. Here he is getting yelled at, lectured, and abused in a terrible way. The poor little guy just did not understand what was going on. And then Cass, my oldest daughter, same thing with her too, telling her she's going to grow up to be. She was one of those um, church going women that was, if you do this, you're going to burn in hell. Everything was
Yeah.
burning in hell type thing. It was. Uh, she,
That fear-based religious mentality, right?
exactly. The reason why so many Christians are demonized was that she basically was
The
the
messenger.
standard for that. Yeah, the messenger for exactly that. Yeah, she was the stereotype of bad Christians. Perfect.
Does she currently have a relationship with any of the children?
No, no, she after all that, she just gave up and completely abandoned us. And I even forgave her child support too, because I was like, just
We're gonna dive into the whole child support thing for sure.
yeah. So yeah, that's right. I'm jumping ahead there.
So when you were given prime custody of the children after your divorce, then she was issued to be paying child support then for the four children with you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, she it was I just left on the minimum because even though she was educated, she can go get a job. Her mental faculties were not there.
So what was the final diagnosis with her? What's wrong with her?
I wish I knew. They wouldn't tell me.
Okay,
I
so
beg. I was like, can I have some peace of mind to know what happened to my wife?
yeah,
Well, that's none of your
absolutely.
business. Privacy, privacy, privacy,
You're
privacy. I'm like,
you're not married. Do the children ask for her at all? Do they want a
no,
relationship with their mother?
not at all. And I did not alienate them. They told me. I mean, my wife and I, we would go dancing. We had so much joy and fun before everything went. I mean, I miss those days. And the kids are so terrified of her, even now that my son.
I was going through your social media and I saw a picture of a good-looking brunette with light eyes. Is that your ex-wife?
That's my new wife.
That's your new wife.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're
She's very pretty.
she's from Argentina.
Oh, okay. Nice.
We met each other on a singles app that I never believed in. I know, on a singles Facebook page, and I waited till I don't believe in when you're separated you just go get a new girlfriend. I don't believe. I wait till the divorce papers are signed, and I was so broken after my my divorce with Nicole. I didn't want a relationship. I just wanted to focus on the kids. I was so grateful to have the kids,
Sure. That makes
and
sense.
I'd go on a couple dates and everything, but and then I started coming out of my shell a bit more and saying, you know what, the girls need a mother figure to teach, because I'm 100% masculine. I don't have a feminine bone in my body. That's not trying to be insulting. I'm a dude. I hunt, I fish, I play sports.
Well,
I like to.
we need
Yeah.
more dudes in this world.
Thank you. But I'm not a bully. I'm
Yeah.
not. I can honestly say I'm not toxic, but I will fight back. I mean, I can turn into Rip from Yellowstone real quick if someone's life is in danger, but only at the right. I truly can say at the right moments. I've proven that. And my kids are they're so well. That anyone can talk to my kids, and they're not coached. We have a bond. I mean, my son at 17, he's the popular, good-looking kid in high school right now,
Hmm.
and
I
he's
saw a
pretty.
video. I saw a video that he had posted where he was talking about some of the things that happened in the past to him. And
Yeah. Oh, he is smart. He's in debate club right now. They're all great students. They're not straight A, but they're definitely above average grades.
hmm
So I'm very grateful for that. And their ambition. My daughter Cassidy, she's playing violin. They have their own passions that might be different from mine, but they're constructive. They're growing. They're improving. And I'm so proud of my kids. They are developing amazing. And
well,
but yeah, no, but
in the end, things really have worked out in your favor and for the best for the children.
yeah, except for one
Clearly.
thing I can get to. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead before I dive into it.
Oh,
I want to talk a little bit about the child support.
oh yeah. Well, what they did that I had no idea about that happened during is called a founded finding,
Okay.
where they put a fake criminal record on my background check that I was never arrested for. But it says on the paperwork, and I have the paperwork right there. It says cannot have access to children and vulnerable adults. So I could not find work anywhere. I could not find decent work. Whenever that
Because of the
pops up,
background check when they were doing it on you. No
yes.
way.
And then they handed it to
Is that
my
even
wife.
legal?
No, it's not. Here, let me grab this real quick. Yeah, I have it with me all the time here. Is they handed it, the founded finding, to my wife. She signed for it. Her signature. Oh yeah, let's see.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yeah, I can even email this to you. I have it public. And
Okay,
for her,
we can put it up there if you want. You can email it to me and I'll add it to this part of the clip.
oh, definitely, definitely. And then also, um, I couldn't find work anywhere. I used to have people beg me to work. I was building data centers for Bitcoin. I
So th
designed the cooling units. I ran heavy equipment.
so what does that mean then? The founding finding that they did,
Yep.
that they put on your background record that now
Mhm.
every employer is going to pull a background record to give you any type of work, right?
And
At
this is
least
what, yeah, and this is what pops up. Can the applicant? This means the applicant cannot have unsupervised access to children and vulnerable adults. I cannot have access to children and vulnerable adults. They made me look like a sex offender
yeah, yeah,
when
like
I
not
was never arrested. I never received due process, and I didn't even know it existed for five
definitely,
years. Yes,
definitely, yeah. If I'm
yeah,
pulling that and I
and
see that on your record, I don't
yeah,
even ask. I'm just like,
yeah,
take him off the list. Absolutely
exactly.
not. This guy's a
And
deviant, you know?
and this is when I was trying to become my mom and dad's caretaker because I was helping them out anyway. Because I mean, I love them. They need help. They're getting up there in age. Even my dad's a very strong. He's been a very strong Hercules type of man his whole life. But the time has not been fair. But then I couldn't become my own parents' caretaker, and
Because
this
of
is what.
that.
Yes, because of this. And I was like, where did this come? And when this showed up, the reality hit. The system was still hunting me to get my children. This was an obvious trap to get me to fail, to lose the house. I got into drinking. I shouldn't have, but I just wanted to shut off the nightmares just for a little bit. So I'd have me a shot of whiskey right before bed. But then it ended up being two. At least thinking I quit, I stopped it all before it got really serious. And it was starting to get to the point just I was going down in a bad way.
Well, it's a
But
good thing
then I
that you
finally,
were able to recognize that you were falling
yes.
into a negative pattern because of, your surroundings, which is understandable.
And it was the heartbreak of losing the home, of realizing they were hunting my children still. To if they got me to break, then they would have a legal reason to come take the kids again, and then they'd have me shut down because they knew how good I fought in court.
So then at
They,
that point, okay, so your ex-wife. So let's dive into a little bit about the child support now
sure.
because
Oh, sure.
Brian Quinn, who was on the podcast in a
I think
previous episode,
I think I remember him.
yeah, he knows you as well. I've spoken to him about you. I told him that you were going to be a guest on the podcast, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I think I've spoken to him in the past." He's a
Mhm.
big advocate now. He's going through it. He is personally going through it right now in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Three young children. And one of the things that he talks about, he's a very successful nurse, and that the courts are incentivized to charge to go after the parent that is making the most amount of money because they're making a percentage of every dollar,
Yep.
depending on the state that you're in, back to the court system. So obviously, yeah, if this is my business that I'm going after, I'm going to go after you if you're making 100 and she's making 40.
Yep.
Even though you are the crappiest parent out there. I'm not
Yep.
even going to look at those things. I'm going to look at the final dollar amount because I need that for my business to continue
Yep.
to grow, right? So then looking at it from that perspective, was she working then where it was in their favor for you to for her to keep the children or and the house and everything else? Like why was that taking place then?
They were trying they were trying to get her to pay child support. No, she was not making good money at the time, but her family was wealthy.
Okay.
Yeah, her family was very well off, and then they believe that they could get some money out of them too because her parents were also involved with her big sister's case with their kids because they just came and started taking the kids. Excuse me. And they were doing well off. So they were actually mad when I forgave the child support. The system was really mad. I was like, I don't want to see her every day, and it's not good for the kids. That I like I gotta go back to court. Oh, Dad, where are you going? I'm like, and I don't want to lie to the kids, and we got to talk about child support. And my son, he's like, "Are you going to see her?" I'm like, so I just gave it up because I just didn't want that energy in our home. And at that time, I was still doing pretty well. But no, the core system, they go through the whole list of all my finances, my work. They wanted to see all my invoices. They wanted to see everything that she made. They want to know the value of my truck. They want to know the value of all my clothes in my closet too.
What do they want you to do, sell it?
Yeah, they were trying to. Well, you got to make sure you don't. They were saying you're going to have a failure to thrive, and they still. Well, they want when I was having to pay the court for court fees and the evaluations and though they were sucking every penny they could out of us,
Yeah.
and to the point that and then with my family that kicked me out of the family business, then I was really strapped there. And so I ended up spending I ended up going to debt for a lot of money just to get my kids back. And and that's what they were trying to do at first. They were trying to get her the kids. But when I showed the evidence, they were mad. They were actually mad. I showed my
Yeah.
innocence. That's another thing that they do lately. They don't want the parents to present their evidence. They don't want to present witnesses. They were fighting me from presenting witnesses in person. It wasn't just going to be a document saying Mr. Acton's a good guy. No, it was going to be someone showing up. She's my aunt, but her and I are the same age. I call her my sister because we grew up together. She was going to show. She showed up and to testify on my behalf. A couple other people were coming up to testify on my behalf because they wanted me to fail so they could get the kids to her. That was their original plan, to get the kids to her, knowing that she was going to fail. They could get the kids and me paying for it all. That's what their plan was, and they were bold about it. They weren't even. They don't even hold back telling you how
Yeah,
they're going to screw
they're
you
not trying
over.
to hide it. Yeah.
No,
At
yeah.
at any point during this process, while you're trying to gain custody of the children, are you having to pay any type of support?
No. I managed to work the miracles off of that one. It's because I got out of that one. That's where they did this new trap, and this one I'm trying to warn people: if you find a way to be successful out of the system, they still get you in a different way. You end up losing the home. They took the house from me, and then if you
So
fail,
you
you're
lost your home. That's another
yes.
thing that was also part of it. You lost your home. That's terrible. My
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, and it was the home where my kids came home to. We had so many memories. I delivered my youngest daughter in that bathroom, and it was just a
So
nice little.
she didn't keep the house either, though.
No,
Nobody kept the house.
no one got the house. They pretty much took everything from us. I had to sell my boat. I had to sell my snowmobiles. I had to sell my entertainment system, which is they're just things. But still, it's not about me keeping the things. It's the greed of the system destroying us. And they turned it back around, and I was like, "Oh, you're just so greedy. You just need your stuff." Like, well, yeah, I worked hard in human waste as a plumber to get things so I could have a decent life. What's wrong with the peasants having a good life? Well, maybe you should go get a second job. Well, when do the peasants get to enjoy their lives? When do we get to? Oh, go get a second job. Go get a third job. Well,
That's
when do we get to have?
exactly it. It gets to a
Yeah.
point that you start doing the formula, the mathematical formulas, right?
Mhm.
Bills minus expenses, and you're paying all this child support for
Yep.
children.
Hmm.
Do children really cost that much money unless you're sending them to a private school or you've been giving them a certain lifestyle because you're an NFL player. Whatever
Exactly.
whatever the case may be, then at that point I do find it to be a little fair. But if all
Mhm.
of a sudden now the parent that is gaining the custody of the children, getting the child support for the child, is
Hmm.
all of a sudden driving a brand new BMW and the father's having or the mother is
Hmm.
having to get three jobs in order to be able to put a roof and food on the
Right.
table for herself and the children when she has them or he
Hmm.
has them every other weekend seems completely unfair. And how
Oh,
does this continue to happen?
it's
How,
completely unjust.
how
Yeah.
many mainly fathers,
Mhm.
especially now that I'm following a lot of these cases, are not ending their lives because they can't continue to live that way?
Several have. They have into their lives. And when I got into like a single parents group, I noticed there was the good and bad both sides. But since I'm a man, I was trying to date a woman. I paid attention to the woman because I want to be with a woman. And I noticed that some of these ladies would actually brag about how they get the child support, they get the alimony, and they're having on their Facebook all these trips, and their kids are always being pawned off on her parents. Her
Yeah.
the grandparents are raising the kids. She's out partying all the time.
What's his name? There's one who I've been following. I've spoken to him a while ago. I should go after him again to get him on the podcast. Is it TUF Tough Dads? He's all over social media.
I
He's
sounds familiar. I used to follow a lot of people back when I had a big TikTok years ago where we'd have lives and I'd be talking to people about how to develop their kids so that because we're working so much when we come home the teachers are not teaching your kids how to develop. They're just basically going through a very minor curriculum so they can pass a grade, but they're not
correct.
teaching them how to grow and improve and become adults. I tell them kids are not going to activate two rings and say activate grown-up powers at 18 to 21. They need to know. So and then if you don't develop your kids, then you're like, oh, you're a bad parent. Why don't you get control of your kids? I'm working two or three jobs
It's
just to make rent.
impossible. It's
Yes.
impossible to be able to fully automatically for you to be an automated, human being where you can, perform right, two jobs, go home,
Yep.
be a perfect housewife or husband,
Hmm.
right? Do all the housework.
Right.
Be a, an exemplary employee at your job and
Oh,
number
exactly.
one, it is and then the best father ever. It's humanly impossible
No,
to do it all. And then on
the
top of it
energy's
now
not there.
and then on top of it, now you have to be a tutor also and teach your child how to do calculus. You
Yes,
know,
exactly.
it
Oh yeah,
gets
they come home with a stack of homework with a new type of math. That's what I loved in the Incredibles too. Wait, when did they change math? I was the same. I That scene in Incredibles 2 of the dad like, no,
yeah.
math. I did the exact same thing, and I didn't even know that movie didn't come out yet.
The way that
Yes,
they're learning math now, the way that they're right with the numbers, I'm just like, this seems a lot more difficult. Let me show you my way. I feel like
yes,
my way's a lot more simple.
that's what I did too. I
Yeah.
showed them both ways, and then they were able to use their way. And I was like, they're like, okay, here's the answer. I'll just do their formula real quick because and that's one thing that's so stupid in school. They're more worried about the formula to get to the answer than actually knowing the answer.
Well, I guess what they're trying to teach them how to do, or at least you would expect it, is to think, right?
Right.
Like think, problem solving, which
Well,
is which is life. If you figure it right, it's like engineering 101.
yeah, it's good to break things down, but the way they're doing it's still not right. Still not right because, like in India and parts of Asia, their school system is question, answer, question. They get the answer right away. So when they break it down, they're not going, oh, wrong answer, wrong answer. But when you break it down, you have five or six wrong answers in your head. When you finally get to the right answer, you shut down relief. Your brain is like, okay, you didn't learn anything. All
Yeah.
you did was have tons of stress that kids don't need. They
Mm.
need right answer, wrong answer. And when they get older, then they can start doing critical thinking. But when they start doing that stuff at too young of an age, they just need to learn reading, writing, and math
I agree.
at
I agree.
first.
I couldn't
You
agree
know,
with you more. I think that
but
we're
but they're
complicating things.
yeah, they're burning the kids out at a young age. I mean, you look when I
Mhm.
go pick up my kids at school, the kids walking home, they're
Yeah,
with
they're
a
not
head,
happy. Like I
they're a
remember
heavy backpack, and
Yeah, I
there's
remember
a
being in
tutor.
school and it was like all your buddies and
Oh yeah,
you were looking forward to being class and
the '80s.
lunchtime. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, look, my mom gave me a sandwich. Let's trade here. Let me try what your
yeah,
mom brought. And it
yeah.
was you were looking forward to hanging out with your buddies. I don't see that same time of excitement. At
No,
least
it's
at least
not on the same
I'm
level.
speaking from what I'm seeing with my own child.
Hmm.
There's definitely like an introvertness that she has that
It's
maybe I didn't.
encouraged.
Yeah.
The introvert mentality is actually encouraged and celebrated to be in a dark room on your computer all day
Well,
long,
that's
being
another thing,
programmed.
right? Like, what are they doing all day? They're either in front of the computer or
Hmm.
they're on their cell phones or
Yes.
they're watching television or they're playing some sort of video game.
Hmm.
Again, they're not outside, right? Like riding horses and riding bike and
Oh,
doing
that's
all
what
the,
I have.
doing
Yes.
all the fun stuff that children would do back then,
Oh,
right? But
exactly. When I was a kid, I loved my childhood. I was on my grandpa's ranch. We raised emus and rabbits. I was out in the desert in Arizona. Just, I mean, I did things as a kid. I'd be terrified. I messed with rattlesnakes when I was a
that's
kid. I'd
crazy.
go I'd go hunting coyotes because they would come after our calves.
Right.
And it was so many neat things you could have done. My dad had taken me and learning bow hunting and
Yeah.
all sorts of neat stuff. And now, I mean, I've been able to do some of that stuff with my kids, but I have to do it on a level. So it's like this. Oh, are you putting the children in danger? Oh my goodness, you toxic, masculine, misogynist narcissist.
No, I think
It
I
was
think
just,
there's value in both sexes, right?
oh yes.
But I believe and you that you have males, you have boys as children,
Mhm.
but there's a certain importance that comes with that male kind of like leadership that has to
Yeah,
be taught.
yeah.
And I'm a single mother and
Mhm.
I'm teaching my daughter as best as I can the feminine side of me because I feel that I've
Right.
had to develop the masculine side in order to be able to survive in this
Yeah.
world
And
by
I've had to learn
myself,
and
you
I've had to
know?
learn to be more, not really feminine, but understanding because my daughters are teenagers now. They
Yeah.
go to dances. I say, I want you to have fun, but I want you to look out for a certain type of boy. And I'm so proud of my daughters.
Well,
They
that's
don't
what I'm
come back.
saying. Now you're giving
Yeah.
her that certain like male wisdom, right? That
Yeah.
that only a
Hmm.
father can teach a
Hmm.
daughter, right?
And, and that's what I was
Like
looking
I can't,
for.
I can't, God knows I've chosen a bunch of, shitheads
And they're
in
out.
relationships in my past. So I
Yeah.
may not be the best person to be explaining this part, but what you as a man can teach a young daughter, right?
Hmm.
That you're caring for and she looks up to you and you're
Hmm.
doing it truly because you want her best interest at heart.
Right.
I will not be able as a female to be able to teach her the same thing. It's just
Hmm.
biologically impossible, I
And
think,
and
you
that and
know?
that's the way God designed it, and it's a
Right.
beautiful thing. See, mothers are a leader in a different way, and it's not just in the kitchen, but it's teaching that nurturing, being a healer, being a someone you can sit and listen. Because my mom, whenever I had a bad time, she would sit and listen to me. There's the good, and if you take it away from one and take it away from the other, and then keep doing the swapping all the time, it's so mixed up and it's not right. And same thing like me with my son, I'm teaching him how to be a protector. He is always looking out for his little sisters. Every
Yeah.
picture I post on there, he's got his arms around them, looking out
That's
for him. And
awesome.
I didn't even have to push that with him. He was already a natural protector and a natural leader. His friends come to him all the time. He's very very involved with the church, always talking about the gospel, but in a loving way, not trying to beat it in
In a
someone's
fear,
head.
in a fear-based
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
showing what the joy is of having faith, and
Yeah.
that's I'm very proud of my son in that one. See, it's the true masculine. Not, they want to say toxic masculine. No, it's toxic people.
Yeah.
But true masculine, true feminine, divine feminine are wonderful things. I wish they'd stop demonizing it on both
Yeah.
sides, basically. And of course they wanted to tear down truly good men. And they respect and glorify criminals,
Yeah.
but a good man saying, "Hey, you're gonna do the chores. you're going to follow the rules. Oh, that's a monster. But the guy out there being a thug, oh, Grand Theft Auto, man, he's a badass. Whoa, that's glorified when being the stay at home, not stay at home, but being the dad that sticks with his family is toxic. It's amazing how it really flipped on everything. Basically in the last 10 years, it's gotten so radical.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
has. It really
Mhm.
has. There's if I and I don't want this to sound the wrong way or anything like that because my daughter is my life and I love her to death, but seeing the way just the way that the world is today and the
Mhm.
way that everything is operating and it's only getting worse. I don't see it getting any better. I'm not really trying to be negative, but I'm being realistic with what's happening in today's society. And it's painful because when you have a child, it's like you suffer on a daily basis because of
Right.
them, right? Because you
And you're scared for them.
right, you're scared for them. You don't want
Hmm.
anything to happen to them. You're
Yeah.
constantly stressed out. You're constantly worried about them. And
Yeah.
and I know that a lot of people, younger children are choosing not to have children
Yeah.
today and I think
Th-
that is
There's
smart.
no hope. There's no joy.
Yeah.
There's nothing to look forward to. Like I'm telling my kids, I don't know what to prepare you for what world is going to be in
Right.
the next 5 years. All I can do
Exactly.
is teach you how to have good work ethic,
Yeah.
honor, integrity, and not to have such integrity to the point you just expose yourself for people to take advantage of you. I mean, I don't want to teach you how to be a liar, but how to gauge who you talk to and who you reveal things to.
Yeah, you have to be
Well,
very careful
yeah, not to be
today
sneaky,
who
not to be
you even
manipulative,
who
but to
you
be
even
guarded a
bring
little
into
bit.
your circle. You have
Yeah.
your little circle of trust, right? Like who are you
Eh,
bringing into that circle? Be very selective and don't be afraid to kick a fucker out if they're acting up, right? And it's like, no,
Exactly.
I don't need this in my life. I don't need this negativity in my life.
Yeah,
Um, how did becoming the primary parent change you then as a man? Like
oh,
that's a big one.
it was a major change because I got my kids home. I just started taking. I was so grateful to have my kids home. I was doing all the chores. I was doing everything. My kids were my three little princesses and my young prince. I babied them to the point, and then one day, Cassidy, she's in there unloading the dishwasher. I'm like, sweetie, what you doing? She was only about 8 or so. Dad, you need help. You're losing it. I'm
They
like,
see everything.
yeah,
They
they do.
see
And
everything. They
and
really
not
do.
losing it like my temper or anything, just said, Dad, you're tired. You're working because that's when I was building data centers for Bitcoin and doing some driving jobs. I picked the kid and I didn't let the bus. I picked the kids up. I was 24/7 just going and still not getting any sleep. And and then learning how to sit and talk and then how to make sure my girls get what they need, that I don't turn them into like butch girls either. I want them
Right.
to truly be who they want to be, and
Hmm.
that they're like right now. Safira got her a skateboard. She's kind of like the skater girl now. She's
I mean, she's
she
being raised by a dad
yes,
and with
yes,
brother and with a brother, an older
exactly.
brother. I think
And,
that it's inevitable that she's going to be a little
mhm.
bit of a tomboy
But
when that's
she is,
cool.
and she's she calls herself like her little Viking. She's got the blonde hair, and they like some tough stuff. And then Cassidy, she's tough, but she's completely girl tough.
Right.
She's not really a tomboy at all, but she's still. I love that she's tough without being bitchy. That's what I'm trying to teach my kids. You can be strong, independent. You can speak your truth. You can be expressive, but it doesn't mean you have to be a jerk. That's not being tough.
Right.
Okay, that's just being a bully, and that's being inappropriate. You can hold your ground, you can have your boundaries, and still be a pleasant joy to be around.
That's
There,
right.
that's a different. And that's one thing I had to learn because when I'm on a job site and something's dangerous, oh, I'll tear into some guys. One guy almost got crushed by a backhoe, and well, like I said, I turned into Rip from Yellowstone. I didn't even know about the show when I was taking care of my kids. I didn't watch too much TV. I watch my kids' shows.
I've never seen it by the way, just because
Yeah.
it's on, I think it's like on HBO. I don't have HBO. I
Yeah, and
refuse
so
to pay for another gadget to watch
oh,
the same movies that you can watch
I
on Netflix or
I
Prime. It's like
completely
how
understand.
many subscriptions do you need?
Exactly. Now there's Peacock and Hulu and
Yeah,
all, and I
that's what I'm
gave up.
saying. It's like
But
yeah,
my my friends would call me up and say, "Wes, have you seen Yellowstone?" I was like, "I've just heard about it." I was like, "You need to see that show." I was like,
Yeah. Well,
"Why?"
I've heard it's fantastic.
I,
Yeah.
I've only seen a couple episodes that have said, "Wes, you got to see it because you're in it." I'm like,
That's
"Really?"
you.
And
That's you,
it's funny
buddy.
when they come to my home and I'm with the kids, I'm playing in with the kids, I'm playing with their toys and stuff, and they're like, "Who the heck are you?" Then when I'm on a job site, it's a different Wes.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
So what are some of the sacrifices that most people never see that you had to make as a single father raising four children?
my dignity, my respect in the community, who I used to be thought of. That Wes, you found the excuse you always wanted to not work. Uh, I went from being the overachiever to being lazy. I have a bad sleep pattern now. I can't. I finally fall asleep maybe around 3, maybe 4, because I just lay here and drift slowly into madness. Um, Lost a bit of my mental faculties because the trauma of always being hunted is here. Overthinking in a way I never imagined overthinking, trying to make sure I'm on top of the next trap that the school's going to throw my way, that the system's going to throw my way. There's always a new trap that's going to fall into our lap.
You're still always thinking that something can go wrong.
Yes, the paranoia of basically always feeling like we're being hunted because, well, we are. They're there waiting. They're looking at your social media, my social media. They're there waiting for you to make the next mistake so they can snatch the kids. That is exactly what they've been doing. And they don't care how they get you as long as they get you for your kids. And for all sorts of different reasons. First, they want to suck all the money out of the parents, so then it's failure to thrive. Then it's failure of child development. They break you down. They get every bit of money out of your pocket. Lose your home, lose your apartment. You're bouncing around, and then they get the kids for all sorts of terrible reasons there too. That's not a conspiracy theory. I've seen the facilities. The reason why there's
I have read and seen documentaries. I'm not going to say that
Mhm,
I've met anybody that has had to endure that, but yes, where they talk
mhm,
about the facilities where they take these children when they're in custody,
mhm.
that they take them away from the parents. That it's just
No,
like,
it's
do
terrible.
not allow that to happen. Get
I,
somebody in your family to pick them up.
Yeah, I had a debate with some people. I was like, "Why do you think there's so many homeless on the streets?" Now, this is not a conspiracy theory. I know them. Homeless on the streets. They shut down the homeless shelters. They shut down the mental institutions. No, not even three quarters of the mental institutions have been shut down in the United States. They're on the streets now. That's why the homeless rate went up. They took away people's homes. They took away the children. They destroyed parents to the point they can't raise their children. And all the institutions are filled with children right now. I know because I used to be the maintenance man. One thing about these buildings, they still need a guy to unplug the toilets. And then you hear things. I was
Do you,
there.
do you want to get into a little rabbit hole with me?
Oh, I love rabbit holes. I tell people I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy enthusiast.
Do you believe that this country is trying to break families on purpose?
Yeah, no, they are. That's not a think. That's not. I mean, so we have a community online now of so many people that we've been in contact with. I'm talking dozens of people every day. That's not a thought. That's not a conspiracy. That's not a theory. It's happening before our very eyes. I tell people, if you want to know what's going on, just look at the world around us. When you
Yep.
go to the store, look who's outside the store begging for help. That person was probably a good, hardworking
Yes.
lawyer. During COVID, the good judges were replaced. The good lawyers were replaced. The good doctors and nurses were replaced. COVID was a harvesting of good qualified professionals, and the bad ones were installed. They use the bad stories, the bad cases of the bad moms now against good moms. They use the cases of bad dads against good dads. The only reason is to break us, to take the children, and to make sure there's no one like us ready to fight back. They want a submissive, broken society, easy to control, and that was the playbook from Rome. That's not anything new. Rome did it. They even bragged about it in Rome. Give the people circuses and bread.
Yeah, yeah. Keep them
I mean,
occupied. Keep them entertained
yes, yeah.
with
Keep them
little,
distracted,
right. Keep them
like a
distracted. That's
laser
the
pointer
word.
with a cat. Everything you see online, even the words, the word narcissist. How many times you have a guest on and the word narcissist said at least 100 times?
Mm-hmm.
It's programming now, not to take away from the bad people that need to be
Right.
held accountable, but everyone's now the narcissists are saying narcissist.
Yeah.
Okay, the bad people learned how to use the lingo against the good people. But just because someone says the proper words now, I don't just believe it. Whenever I see anything popular, I stay away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now the new word is targeted, which is true. People are being targeted, but the people in charge that does the programming, they know to use something that's going to catch the public's attention. The next laser pointer for the cat. We're the
Yep.
cat.
Yeah. What
And
and
I
what area did we focus on? Where do we need the attention the strongest in right now? I
yes.
agree. I agree. I see that happening too. It's scary. It really is. It's scary because it's only getting more out of control, right?
Well,
And you have the few that that are able to kind of see through it already,
yeah.
and
Well, there is quite an awakening happening. Like
there's
you, like
there's
give me
this
right.
mass awakening that's taking
There
place
is.
right now because it's
Mhm.
so blatantly obvious at this
Yeah.
point that if you're not seeing it, it's like, what are you, a moron? Like this,
Exactly.
it's too
Mhm.
much already. It's too much.
Well, the programmers, they're not as clever as their parents and their grandparents. The people, the elites.
Or remember, the social media that we have today was not available back then.
It wasn't. Now we can communicate with each other. Like,
Right.
wait a minute, what happened to you happened to me. I'm not isolated.
We can get real information out in real time now. We weren't
Yeah,
able to do that before.
when we use these as a tool instead of just always entertainment, we can do some great good.
Yeah,
And see,
that's
I like to
true.
play a game once in a while. Maybe watch a little fun video,
Well, you
like
need a little escape
yeah,
too,
yeah, a little
right?
escape, but not constant escape. We have to be responsible and we have to be aware.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to tell people. I was like, some people that's on social media, they give good advice about their cases. They want to give. There's a couple big names out there. They want to teach people how to do what they failed. They don't have their kids. They lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Certain people always have a new suit or a new outfit all the time, so they're getting money from somewhere. But they want to teach other parents to do what they lost, but they want to do a class on again what just how to file the paperwork.
Right.
But they need to learn how to behave, how to use strategy, how to watch out for the traps. That's one thing I've not seen anyone on social media. All the big names that's for parental alienation, 50-50 custody, all the stuff, serving affidavits, holding the judges accountable. That's great, but there's more to it. It's how to conduct yourself and how to basically live in a world like espionage. We're all Jason Bournes and James Bonds now that we have to be aware of what the next one is going to trap us with.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've actually gotten pretty good at. It's through paranoia, it's through fear, and it's through survival.
It's through experience. It's also
Yes.
because of everything that you've been through. So you're
Yeah.
firsthand explaining so that
Yeah.
others can avoid it. And so
Mhm.
kind of diving into that a little bit.
Mhm.
So you've become somewhat of an advocate now for other fathers that are dealing or wanting to understand how to even start this legal process.
Yeah.
You and I know that you were just in Washington
DC.
with a group. Yeah. You were just in Washington with a group of people.
Mhm.
And you were kind of leading the way there. You want to share a little bit about what it is that you're doing?
Well, it's wonderful. I have been reaching out to any type of advocate group so I can be helpful because I was actually one of the big names about 5 years ago on social media, having lives, talking to people. But I got shut down when I was losing my house, and I found this just broke me.
Mhm.
So I was reaching out. I reached out to a lot of the big names, but here lately it's been the Family Justice and Accountability Act because it's a bill and I've read. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. It's public. You can read it if you want. It's a
Mm-mm.
94-page bill. Very good. Um, there's some things in there that people say they kind of disagree with, but as far as most bills, this one really covers a lot what parents need to hold judges accountable, and that parents have the resources they need to survive. So we had a good together. We had a lot of people sharing their stories, 3-minute videos of their stories. I'm now the Washington state team leader. I have a Washington page for it. There's a lot of gossip and hearsay. I'm still waiting for someone to send me some actual proof that we're doing something wrong. But I know there's a lot of hurt feelings because I think a lot of big names want to be the big name. They want to be able to shake the president's hand, and that's more focused instead of helping families. With my boss, I don't know if I should say her name right now because there's kind of controversy around her name.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
If if it's gonna impact anything with the podcast, don't do it because we got great
yeah.
information in here.
So I'm doing that, but I did a lot of research. I have a lot of big names, not that do major research. So I did a lot of research before I just jumped in to help with the Family Justice Accountability Act.
Yeah,
Um, and I want to make sure I wasn't going into another dead end. Oh, we're serving affidavits. Donate to us. Okay, thank you. And that then it just stops. I want to get my hands dirty and get the job done. And that's what I finally found here is something that we're getting, and we're getting massive support in the government now. I mean, it's building a very positive direction. I'm talking to a lot of people. I try to be wary talking to moms because it can also be taken that I'm trying to get attention. No, I'm in love, even though it's we're separated. I'm I'm not looking. I want to save children. I want to reunite families, and I want my life back so I can go back and rebuild a successful life again. So that's my main focus is for the children to come home to good parents and that we get the rights. We have our rights, but they're being hidden from us. Where this bill basically puts in an order that you have to be presented your rights immediately in court. They can't do any sidesteps. Judges and lawyers will be held accountable if they do not truly focus on what's good for you. So that's what we've been doing now. We've got massive support. The Washington chapter is getting close to 2,000 members now,
that's awesome.
and I've only been at it for about well, for about since September. So we're making great momentum. When we have our little Zoom meetings every Wednesday, we start with a prayer. Even with people that aren't of faith, they're saying we understand, but we just want to have every option available to us.
Heck yeah.
And then we're quite a support system. We have a few bad apples that show up that are so far damaged. There's not much we do. And I tell people we're here to do a job. You're not coming to this to get a lawyer. Now we do have court watchers that we can do Zoom court watchers if the judge allows it, which the judge should always allow it. I mean, if you're doing everything right by the law, you should have every witness in there at all because you're doing it
Correct.
right.
Correct.
So that's one thing I've been putting out there, trying to make sure I have a list of all the documents of that people can present in court, saying, Your Honor, I have the right to present evidence. I have the right to present witnesses. I have the right to not have a gag order.
Right.
And those gag orders were just wrong to ever show
Brutal.
up.
Yeah.
That was just wrong in every way. That's suppressing people's right to present that they're innocent. You see, we're guilty till proven innocent, and after we prove our innocence, we're still guilty
Yeah.
because we go back into the world and oh, you went for the family court system. You're tainted. Ew, ew. That's how we're treated. I go around to the stores, meet old acquaintances of mine, like, oh, Wes, how are you doing? Oh, I mean, that's how it's like I'm a vile, disgusting thing. When I used to be revered, I was a seminary teacher, I was a scout leader, I was an asset to my community. I was a successful man. And then just because of this whole experience, I am now looked at like worse than a drug dealer. I'm looked at like I'm worse than some sort of offender of any kind. Just
But
because
why
I
why do you say that if you were able to finalize the custody with your children and they're healthy and they're good kids and they're going to school and they have a roof over their heads and you clearly are a good father, why do you say that about yourself?
well, it's how oh, no. See, I know who I am on the side. I'm proud of the work I've done, and there's mistakes I made, but it's how we are looked at because no one wants to hear what your success is. They want to hear where that you failed. It's like the juicy gossip to
Yeah.
get the attention off themselves. Look how bad Wes is. Oh my gosh, he lost his home. He must have done something wrong. Oh, this from members of my family. Well, Wes, you must have done something. It's
Right.
amazing how people will believe the background check if it's someone else. But when it's me, oh, they lied about me, but everyone else is true. It's insane how people's minds are. It's that primitive caveman mindset of you bad, me good. Oh, my people good, me people been mistreated. Your people are abusers. That that tribalism that has been installed in us is well, like I said, primitive.
Yeah. It's that primitive
Basically,
it's
monkey
that
brains.
that primitive DNA is still in us, even if we want
It
to get rid
is.
of it or not, right?
So yeah, I've been trying to talk to people. Hey, look at the one in the mirror. We do not improve society until we improve ourselves first and learn how to conduct ourselves, how to communicate, and how to be a joy to be around. Not like you're floating on air all the time, but cooperative, finding common ground, learning how to understand each other. We're never going to understand each other completely, but at least have understanding
Yeah,
for someone.
for
And not
sure.
to the point you, like me, I ended up overlooking a lot of red flags that broke my heart this last time too, because I fell so in love. I became I it became an unhealthy love, and I admit that I
So
was overlooking.
you're currently not married anymore.
No,
You're
no,
separated.
I'm separated, but I don't do anything. I'm. Some people said, "Well, how about you go on a date?" I was like, "No, no, I'm not doing that until the papers are signed." And I still, I'm so. See, I like I said, it was an unhealthy love. I still want things to get better because I'm just and people are like, well, you're talking to a lot of ladies. Like, no, that's for the court system. I'm not flirting. I'm not here on a singles cruise. I'm here to get work done, pass a bill, get people their lives back. I'm here as for a job. I was like, I will have a good, friendly working relationship, but there's no romance in my heart right now. Yeah, that has been broken, and I was like, and no one should be looking for any type of hookups in this community. We've all been broken. We've all been damaged. We have
Everybody's
trust
broken.
issues. Yes,
Everybody's
we
broken.
have, especially in the single parent realm.
Yeah. The older
Until
we
you,
get, everybody's got a bunch of issues
I was like,
that, yeah,
you can't expect someone to put up with your garbage if you're not willing to put up, or your trauma if you're not willing to put up with someone else's trauma.
right.
So I was like, there's no way I'm going to dive
At
into
this
that.
point, it's like the checklist is not like, yeah, what do you do for a living? No, no, it's like how many times have you been divorced, right? How many baby mamas you got? What's going on
Exactly.
with you, baby daddies you got? Like those are the questions that you need to ask,
Oh yeah.
to see what you're dealing with. And then at that point you can say, all
Yeah.
right, hey, I think I feel like I can
Yeah.
deal with that, or I
Yeah,
can't at that point, right?
exactly. It's like, what's the list of red flags instead of the list of accomplishments?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's true to
So
be said. It's hard to
yeah, and
it's hard
I'm just staying
to admit
out of it
something.
right now at all right now. Even though how badly I love being in love, walking through Universal, holding her hand, going to the beach, how badly I miss that. I know I just cannot have it right now. And
Yeah.
that's not some well rehearsed speech to get someone interested or to say, "Oh, he's mysterious." That's not a speech to try harder. No. I'm here to do a job until the job is done, then I might look into something like that. But there's no point. I started neglecting my children when I moved to Los Angeles because I was in tunnel mode in love, and I just know I'm not able to handle it. So
Right.
there's no point of putting someone else into that situation when I know I'm good on doing a job. I'm good at resources. I'm good at networking. I'm good at recruiting. I'm good at doing a job because then I'm in my professional mindset. But when it comes to the emotional aspect of having a relationship, I'm just not there anymore. I've realized it has been beaten out of me.
You know,
And
it's recent what happened. I
yeah.
believe that we all have a process that we have to
Yeah.
go through
Mhm.
in order to I'm not going to say fully heal because I don't think
Yeah,
that that's even
that's possible.
applicable. Right.
No.
That's impossible.
But manageable.
But in order for you to get to that kind of
Yeah.
like point, and at that,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying that it's not your wife,
Hmm.
but when you meet that special someone at that
Hmm.
point, that's also going to be where you're going to feel ready because that person's just going to have something about them where you're going to be
Yeah.
like, hey, what is it, right?
True.
Because the majority of the people that are out there today are very,
Mhm.
very broken, and that's the
Yeah.
reality of the
And
society that we're living in today.
it is. It's the product of the environment. And I tell people, I don't blame the individuals. This was done to us.
Yeah,
We wanted to have a good life. We wanted to have one job and have able to support ourselves. One job is
yeah,
supposed to be enough. Now we have to have three jobs and still not make it. I
it's
mean, that
hard.
is
It's hard.
wrong. And then we're paying anyway. I don't want to get into the politics, but the fact is, prices have gotten so expensive.
Yeah.
For what? It's just greed. They say, well, inflation. Inflation is just legalized theft. That's all that
Yeah, it's
is.
funny. I was watching, what is it that Elon was worth? Like, so, like I don't know what $1 trillion. It's like,
You know,
how much money can a person possibly be
oh,
worth?
Right,
you know?
exactly. And I have no problem.
And then you have, everybody in the world that's starving,
Yes,
and
exactly.
children. You have people in this in this world that don't have water to drink. They don't
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
clean
Mr. Beast,
water.
that one YouTuber, Mr. Beast, he got in trouble for digging wells in Africa. He was giving them fresh water, and they were mad at him. I was like, really? A man came into my country, was providing my people with free, good wells and clean water. I would be throwing the dude a parade. Like he gets in
I didn't know
trouble.
that. I didn't know
Oh yeah,
that.
my kids watch Mr. Beast. He's a YouTuber, but
Yeah, I know.
he's a very uplifting kind of guy. I try to make sure my kids are watching more uplifting
Yeah.
things. Yeah, because there's enough negativity. I was like, well, you got to have them in touch with reality. I was like, oh, they're going to be in touch with reality. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's
When they're
right.
around dad, they can know that dad's safe, uplifting, laughter, joy,
Yeah.
and bringing awareness to what to look out for. But that's it. I'm not going to just dive into the muck with my kids. And I'm trying to make sure my kids are kids. I was like, and I love that they're not, that they agree with me. I was like, wait till you're in your 20s to have any type of relationship. Don't spend your teenage years like a single parent. Like and in constant turmoil, like, oh, he got me a ring, and dad, is she talking to someone else? My first years of life was watching my big brother and sister in constant turmoil over relationships.
Yeah.
They're 8 and 10 years older than me,
You got the
and it
rest
was
of
just
the
drama.
rest of your life to meet the love of your life,
Yes, exactly.
focus on getting a good career,
Yeah,
doing something you love, where
and
it can
building
put
yourself.
and building yourself
Build
as a
yourself.
person, and then
Yeah.
that other half will come, right?
and
Like,
and when
yeah.
we were talking about core memories a bit ago, my core memory was seeing my parents arrested when I was 6 years old
Oh, good Lord.
because a bad thing happened. Um, Another family accused my parents of kidnapping when really two teenagers ran off together. Okay,
Okay.
and they were just teenagers, and then it wasn't really their fault. They were just happy together, but the parents of their daughter were just freaked out. So they just came over and arrested my parents. And so that was my first memory. That's why I have a real issue with authority. That's when COVID
That makes
happened.
sense. Yeah.
When COVID happened and they started telling me what to do, I don't like being told what to do. I mean, if especially when it was something so ridiculous. I took hazmat and biohazard. I knew what really stopped biological agents. See, when COVID first showed up, I got my kids the rubber masks with the real filters because I didn't know what COVID was. Then
Yeah.
when I started learning more about it, I was like, this. Oh gosh, this was just a test to see how the society can comply. That's
I
what
don't
this
know.
really was.
I don't know if this is something that I should be proud of or if it's stupidity and ignorance on my end, but I never feared anything that had to do with COVID. I have a
Same
lot of
here.
respect for it. My father passed away October of 2019, right
Oh,
before COVID, but he was banged up. So I was like, I thank
mm.
God because I always say if he would have gotten sick during COVID, right? Like they were keeping family members out of the hospital, so he
Yeah.
probably would have died by himself.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm grateful that he was able to pass before and we were able to be with him. But my
Yeah.
point is, since maybe that was it, right? Like losing a parent, my mom thankfully is still with me.
Oh
And
good.
the death of a parent is huge, right? That's a life altering kind of change that happens in your life. And so
Mhm.
I feel like COVID didn't scare me at all. I wasn't concerned with it.
Mhm.
I respected people that feared it
Mhm.
because, there was a lot of people in the hospital and people were getting sick. But I think that it was
Mhm.
just like people calm down. Like it's not that bad, you
Yeah.
know?
Just learn to wash your hands.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get
Mhm.
it, but
Mhm.
really you're gonna tell me that if I stay 6 feet away from you, I'm not gonna catch what you have when you cough? Like
It was such
it
bull
doesn't
crap.
make any sense. So you're
Yeah.
telling me that this little mask that I'm wearing
Yeah.
is gonna stop any type of virus from entering my body, you know,
It doesn't.
if I'm standing within the same area, that you're in, it didn't make any
Yeah.
sense to me. It just did not
Uh,
make any sense to me.
Yeah, a customer of mine who's a very renowned doctor, he says, you're breathing your bacteria of your mouth into that
Right,
rag
right back
and
in
then
you.
back into your lungs. So
I
when you
just
do catch something, the virus has an arsenal already in your lungs to work with. And
All I
then,
know is that people's breath were kicking during COVID
yeah.
because everybody with that mask on, and
Mhm,
then they would take it off for a minute, and you were
mhm.
like, "Oh boy, put it
Oh,
back on, buddy."
and one thing I've given a lot of parents, not just COVID, but for cleaning your house. the chemicals are expensive. What I did is just hydrogen peroxide, put Epsom salts in it for the scent, like eucalyptus. Uh, Hydrogen peroxide takes care of everything.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, you
was
spray it
reading
around your
about that the other
faucet.
day. Yeah, that
Yes.
it's like
And
excellent for everything.
yeah, I've been doing that for the last 10 years. It opens up your drains. I mean, some people are wishy on this, but I rinse my teeth out with it because
Yeah,
it's not like Clorox. It's just water, hydrogenated.
yeah. Don't swallow
And
it.
and my teeth, I haven't had to go to the dentist in 7 years. It just and only like twice a week. I swish my mouth out with it, and then you rinse your mouth out. Then the taste is gone. I mean, there's a little bit of a weird taste, but
Yeah,
it's gone. And then we're away from chemicals. And then basically, my kids and I, all our cleaning is hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, Epsom salts, and those Costco wipes from Costco.
yeah.
And that's basically all we use. Saves a lot of money. So I had to do a lot of when you said when it turned me how to be really thrifty because I used to be I didn't have to worry about money to I had to watch every penny.
Right, right.
So I had to learn a lot of different tricks on how to survive. And unfortunately, I'm on a food card. I hate doing that, but because it feels demeaning, but I have no choice. And now they keep cutting my food benefits, and then I find other people have $3,000 a month on their food. I only get for me and four kids, $1,100 a month.
That's not.
That's it doesn't last long at all. And I try to get all the bargain brands, and I love to be more natural foods, but they're expensive. So we have no
It's
choice
funny,
but to
right? Like
process.
you go get fast food. I get the example is
Yeah.
also like a parody here with the way that I'm trying to explain it. But
Hmm.
you go get any kind of fast food. Let's go to McDonald's and you ask for a water. They'll charge you $1, $2, but then they'll
Yeah.
give you a soda for free, right? Because it comes with the
Exactly.
meal.
Yeah.
And
That's another programming.
it's crazy. So
Yeah. It
anyway,
is.
Wes,
Yes.
so to end our podcast,
Oh, we're over.
with all
It
the
felt like 10
relevant,
minutes.
no, I know, but I just want to get
Yeah.
final a final message that you can have to fathers who are fighting
Hmm.
the system right now, who are fighting the ex-wife. They're away
Hmm.
from their children. They
Yeah.
hear all these crazy stories. They're afraid. They're scared. They don't know what to
Hmm.
do. What do you have to say to them that can help them that
Yeah.
can give them some sort of peace of mind and
Yeah.
where they can start?
Oh, really? Learn how to control yourself. It's looking in the mirror and trying to see how you can conduct yourself because they work to try to get you to lose your temper so they can turn you into the villain.
Right.
Um, Learn to get a support system. And when you have a support system of men, don't try to be the alpha in the room. Try to be a brother. Try to be a Spartan. Have your shield protect your brother. You got to have the mindset. This divide and conquer idea is not working. You have to be a unit. My scout leader said, where does true wealth, true success, true power come from? Some of us said church, God, family, money. He said allies. An ally can be a family member or not. An ally is someone who's there with you shoulder to shoulder. A friend can come and go. Family comes and go. But an ally, someone that you are in common with, that you can fight side by side with, like, the new 300 movie, it was too Hollywooded up, but the message, that's one thing I love about superhero movies. The message of having great power, great strength, but still controlling yourself to be that protector. Be Just be the example. When I was a scout leader, I told my kids, my boys, I said, right now is your time to decide what kind of man you're going to grow up to become. Who are you going to be? Are you going to be the hero or the villain? And it doesn't mean you have the messiah complex. It just means that you conduct yourself with that kind of decorum, that honor, that respect, that dignity, oh, I lost the other word.
Well,
But
it's about and I think that that applies not just to men but to women as well, right? It's
oh,
about emotional regulation. I think
oh
that if you
yes,
can learn to control
yes.
your emotional regulation, your body's emotional regulation, when anything out of the ordinary happens that's a trigger
Mhm.
for you, that's something that really sparks you, that really like turns you
Oh,
upside down,
mm-hmm,
that reaction.
mm-hmm.
If you can control that, you can control anything that's
You
put in
sure
your
can.
way.
Another thing that's been a trap is the strong and independent bull crap. They kept us divided, so
Yeah.
we're easier to target. See, when we're a unit, were much stronger, but
Of
they had the,
course.
oh, I'm strong and independent. I can do what I'm an alpha. I can do whatever I want. They
Correct.
made us separate so they
Yeah.
could pick us off one by
If
one.
we
And
unite as in unity comes strength, right?
exactly. And now with the community I'm in right now that they go to court, they hear that they're part of what we're dealing. We had a woman in Alaska. She told the judge what she was who she was associated with. They forgave her being late on court and moved another day when they're ready to put her in jail.
Yeah.
And another woman in Florida where you are, I won't mention names, of course, but she had a victory. And then another man I have in Illinois, another man in Texas. Now they're being listened to because now there's a community of people giving each other advice, giving each other um, resources, help. We come together and we strategize, we talk, we understand each other. Hey, this is what I did. This is what I went through.
Yeah.
We have strategy sessions, we have team meetings. Now that's what we need. We need to unite again, find a community, and do not become the jerk in the. We've had a few people that came in and stirred it up because they just live for drama.
Right.
So, but at least they didn't break anything that we just had to get rid of them. Like, we want to be here for help, but if you're going to cause problems, there's nothing we can do for you. It's either you're here and be an asset, or you have to leave. That's the main rule. So,
Well,
and we.
you're doing really good work out there. I know a lot of people definitely, if I were in those shoes, I
Mhm,
definitely want to, speak to somebody that can kind of, walk me through, at least talk me through,
mhm.
not walking off the ledge, right?
Right.
And so if anybody would be interested in further discussing maybe something that's happening with them directly with you, would you be open to speaking with them?
Oh, I just got to speaking with some people yesterday. So
Okay,
no,
so
I'm
how
always
can they reach you?
well. On unfortunately on Facebook it's Randolph Acton. Even though my name's Wes, but on Facebook it's Randolph. I had to use my dad because I was helping so many people. They shut down my Facebook page, and they made it impossible for me to get back on this phone. And I can't even start up a new Facebook page on this phone completely. So I had to. Yeah, I'm on a different phone now with a whole different name.
Yeah.
But on TikTok, it's of course Wes Acton. And then if you know anyone personally, you have my number. You go and give them my phone number, and I'll be happy because I trust you to send me someone that might need
Okay.
to have a good talking to. So,
You got it. And a
um,
lot of people
I
reach out to me directly on
yeah,
on the podcast on YouTube where this is going to
mhm,
be posted. They
mhm,
will reach out to me sometimes directly for more information.
yeah,
So if you're open to it, I'll
and
definitely give them your cell phone so that
and
they
a
can reach
message to
out to you.
everyone else is there is an awakening happening. We have groups of people, an alliance building of good people. It looks dark, but there's a lot of good things coming up.
I hope so.
Um,
I hope
there's
so.
a man I interviewed called the Dr. Charlie Ward Show. That man has a lot of good information. There's a lot of good people giving good advice, giving good truth out there of things that we were denied for many years. And now, again, yes, it looks dark, but there's hope in my heart that hasn't been there for a long time because I'm in contact with a lot of other people, and there's some good things coming, and it's looking very good. So, telling people, do not give up yet. Well, I got a feeling we might win here soon. There's some
No,
good things
you,
coming my way.
again, in unity comes strength, and
Yeah,
the more people, come together in this fight to help good parents, right?
yeah,
It's about helping good parents that really want to, be part of their children's lives. There's nothing wrong with
exactly.
that. There's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with that. You shouldn't be punished for that because
Yep,
you married an
we
asshole.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And in my case, a mental patient, but and that wasn't making fun of it. I tried to tell people it wasn't a man versus woman situation in mine. It was in a way it was because I was trying to get help for a woman, and I was always being treated like I was trying to demonize her when I was actually trying to find help. And what I have been given the greatest gift ever. I've had so much wonderful time with my kids, even though we've been poor, we've been stressed out, but I have memories with my children you cannot buy.
Listen,
And that's
there's
what I want to
I
give to
I
other
I
people.
grew up poor. I was
Mhm.
never rich growing up, and would I have liked to have had a yacht? Go on my father's yacht? Sure, who wouldn't,
Mhm.
right? But at the same time, the memories that I have of being with my father, being with my mother, they're all
Mhm.
wholesome, they're all loving, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade that for the world, right?
No.
Because in the end, what you want is your parents. You want both of them, your
Yeah.
mother and your father, right?
Yes. And that selfishness and ego and greed just gets in the way. One pastor made a point to me that greed is the point to all the other sins. Greed leads to envy, greed leads to lust, greed leads to slothfulness, greed leads to gluttony. It all starts with greed.
That's
And
true.
that we need to let go of greed and start learning to be more compassionate. Not to the point where just giving everything away. Oh, here, take my shirt. No, but at least understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, you know,
absolutely.
I'll
Okay,
get off my
Wes.
soapbox now.
Well, thank you. It was all, great information. Thank you for sharing your story
Thank
with
you.
us. Again, I'll be, posting at the end in the comments. I'll put a little bit of your TikTok channel. Go
Okay.
ahead and text me some of the pictures that we were talking about.
Oh,
Maybe a picture of your family if you want. I can put it at the
oh,
beginning of the
will do.
podcast, so that
Oh yeah.
everybody can
I'll
see
send you a
you.
variety of stuff that I already
Yeah.
have. I already have my own file. I'll just send you the file. You just pick what you want.
There you go. There you go, Wes. But I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
Oh,
And nothing. I wish you the best of luck, my friend.
same with
We'll keep in
you.
touch. We've
Oh
been
yes,
talking for a
and
while
I
now.
watched your show quite a bit. My Espanol is pretty
So
good. I should.
you're the one that's watching. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So because I see a lot of the parents, and sometimes when I see the comment section, I try to reach out to some parents to just say, "Hey, you're not alone." Just trying to give them that
Yeah.
little boost and say, "Hey,
Well,
I,
I
I
got really good engagement with the podcast, the episode that I did with Brian Quinn, where we were talking about this specifically and everything that he was going through. I got
yeah,
really good engagement with that podcast because it's a really relevant topic. It's happening to a lot of people out there, and they don't know what to do, and they can't afford to get a really good attorney. That's the
right."
bottom line, you
And when
know?
you do get an attorney, they're not on your side. They make a backroom deal.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what he was saying too.
yeah,
Like
the, the, the attorneys.
they're cutting deals directly to see how they can get paid more money,
Oh,
and
they
it's just
are.
a hot mess. He was, I really felt for him because you can tell that he's a great father. His children, they're young, really young kids too that
Mm-hmm.
he has, and he's lost his
Mm-hmm.
home,
Yeah.
and it's just like a constant battle one after the other, and he's overwhelmed, he's overworked.
Yeah, I think Brian is friends with me on Facebook. I'll just send him a message saying, "Hey, man, want to talk?"
Yeah, yeah, do that, do that. I spoke with him a couple of weeks ago, and I had told him that I was working to get you on the podcast.
Oh,
So,
okay, cool. Yeah, I got good connections. I feel bad when I can't keep up, and so yeah, I'll reach out and maybe tell him, hey, the Seahawks are winning. So
all right, buddy. Well, thank you again for your
thank
time,
you.
Wes. I really appreciate it. Okay, have a good night.
Anytime. You too. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.